Welcome back to another video, and today I'm going to be talking about being a shift lead at Walgreens. So if you got promoted to shift lead, already working there, it's going to be a lot easier for you because you already understand the job and you already have time working there. But if you were hired like off the street, never worked at Walgreens before, it's going to be a little bit more challenging, like I said, because you never worked there and you don't know how things are done. So I want to make this video so you kind of know at least what's going to happen in your first couple of days when you start working as a shift lead. So when you get promoted to shift lead and people see your name tag or you introduce yourself as a shift lead, they're going to expect you to know more than a customer service associate, which is like the base position. This is a good and bad thing. It's a good because like once you're experienced and like people ask you questions and you get to help them out, it feels like really good because you get to help people. But in the beginning, when you don't know anything and people ask you for help, it's kind of going to be like, it's going to be hard because you want to answer the question, you just don't know the answer. So my advice for that is I would just get people's phone numbers, get the store manager's phone number and the assistant managers and other shift leads, and just ask them like, I'm new and if I have a question, can I just text you? Or if it's not too late, can I call you? And if they're nice, they'll say yeah, and they'll help you out. Because you don't want to feel alone. Say you're like opening the store, closing the store by yourself. You don't want to feel alone. Like you don't know what's going to happen if you have a question. So just get their phone numbers and just be nice to them. And 9 times out of 10, they'll answer your questions for you. And one of the biggest part of the jobs as a shift lead is going to be like handling and distributing money. So as a shift lead, you're going to have access to the safe. And like say a cashier calls for change to get $100 bill. It's going to be your job to get 5 20s or however like you want to distribute the money and switch it off with the cashier. So the cashier will get the 20s and you'll get the 100s, and then you'll put it back in the safe. And the same thing when a cashier, they might need change. So say they need nickels or dimes, you're just going to give them the nickels and dimes and take however much it is in dollars in the actual bills and just put it in the safe. Pharmacy might call you because they might get a big bill. You're just going to switch it out with them. One big tip is learn your codes as a shift lead. At least in my store, there's going to be like a code 50, which is like a big bill. And the pharmacy or the cashier might call that out, so just learn those so you don't have to like go ask them like, what do you need? So if you have to write them down on a notebook, like do it. It saves you some time and it makes you look more like you know what you're doing. So there's going to be distributing money. And then if you close, you're going to be like pulling on the registers at the end of the day. So what I mean by this is you're going to go to every register, including the pharmacy ones, and then you're going to pull them. You're going to be sure that they only have $100 in there, and all the extra money you're going to take out. And then you're going to put it on top of the safe. And then at the end of the day, however much you pulled should match however like the computer says there is. So if they match up equally, that means you didn't make a mistake or the cashier didn't make a mistake. But say you're short money, that means someone made a mistake or something happened. So you're going to be doing that. One of my tips is like go slow, of course. And what I do, I count money, and we have a scale in my store. So I weigh money and I count money until I get 100 or I get 105. And then I take all the extra money and I put it aside. And then say I have 105, I'll pull $5 out and put it with the extra money just so I have 100. And then I'll double count that money just to be sure I have my 100. And then I'll count the extra money and then put that in the safe. So just go slow. For us, we have a scale. Just use the scale. Just go slow. It's not hard. It's kind of challenging in the beginning because it's new, but now it's just easy. So you're going to pull that. In my store, we have I think it's like 8 or 9 registers. So it takes like an hour and a half. So that's not too bad. So you're going to pull them, have $100 in there, put the extra money aside, make a bundle to put in the safe. You could drop it so like the Brinks guy comes in and gets it. And then other than that, it's easy once you get used to it. Another thing you have to do is when you come in for your shift, let's say you work a morning, a swing, or like a morning or a swing, you're gonna have to come in and you're gonna have to count the safe. So you want to be sure the safe, I think it's called the working fund, which would be like the bottom of for us, the safe divided into 2 things for us, bottom and top. So you want to be sure the bottom of the safe has the correct amount of money. If it doesn't, you would have to ask the person working before you, like, hey, what happened? Is the safe is short $5-10? So you would have to count it to be sure the safe is good. So that way, like, it protects you. Like they could say, oh, my safe is short $10. Or when I counted, it was good. So you're gonna count it. We have a little sheet of paper. You can count your pennies, nickels, dimes, quarters, 1s, 5s, 10s, 20s, 50s, 100s. And then if it matches up the number that's supposed to be in there, you're good. Another thing we do in my store that shift leads do, we're responsible for 1506. 1506 is just like merchandise that you can't put back on the shelf. Let's say it was opened, expired, returned, and then we just scan it with a little handheld scanner. And we either put it like in the correct box or the correct tote for like the truck to take or for someone to take. So that's not too hard. You scan it, it tells you where it goes. So it's not bad at all. Another big thing as a shift lead is like in general, is going to be multitasking. Because you might be counting money, and then cashier might say, "Oh, I need change for 100." So you might have to put your whole like drawer that you were just counting in the inside like the little inside the safe, and pull 520s out to get to the cashier. Or you might have like a customer who's mad, and like you might have to stop whatever you're doing to go help them. So just get ready to multitask. It's an easier job, at least for me, but it does have its moments where you do gotta multitask and spread yourself thin. But other than that, it's not too bad. Another big tip I have for new shift leads is just to treat your team members right. Because if you treat them bad, they're not gonna want to help you one day, or if you need them, they're gonna want to help you. So just treat them right. Treat them like as human beings, because we're all human beings. And I'm gonna be honest, the position really doesn't mean anything at all to me. You make a little more because you do a little more, but it doesn't make you better than anybody. So just treat your people right. They'll treat you right. You treat them right, you might need them for something. They're gonna be more inclined to help you if you, like I say, if you treat them like human beings, and if you come to them when you need them. So one big thing in my store is what I like to do. Say a cashier needs change, I like to give it to them fast. Another thing you have to do with the shift lead, you gotta approve like credit card reloads. So say they load anything over $200, they're gonna have to call a shift lead to confirm it that it's the correct amount, and like the bills aren't counterfeited. So what I like to do, even if I'm like super busy and I get a call for like a reload to approve it, I drop what I'm doing and I go help them. I go approve it, because you got to scan your badge for them to like actually accept it. So I do that as fast as I can, because as a cashier, because I was promoted from a cashier to a shift lead, it sucks. Like when you have people just staring at you and they don't come out to help you because you need their like badge to approve it, and the line gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and they start getting mad at you, but you really can't do anything until your shift lead comes and approves it. So I just try to treat my people right, put them first. Whatever they need, I do it first, and then what I have to do, I can do it second. Just treat them right. Another big part of the job is going to be dealing with customers. This is probably the worst. That's why I put it last. At the end of the day, the people are going to consider you management. You're not really a manager, because like there's only really two managers. So there's front end and then there's pharmacy. Pharmacy has their own managers, and then the front end, which is the store, has its own managers. So at the top of the food chain is going to be the store manager, and then below him or her it's going to be the assistant store manager or the emerging store manager. And under than that, you don't really have any more managers. You have leadership. It would be your shift leads, which would be you, which are applying for this position or you got promoted. And then under that are going to be the customer service associates under you. But you really don't control them. They're just there to help you, and you're there to lead them. You really don't. You're not in charge of them. Like, you're not their boss. Don't act like your boss. Don't act like their boss. Don't have an attitude. Don't think you're better than them. So you're going to be dealing with customers at the end of the day. If like CSA is having trouble, say our items are not ringing out correctly, and the customer's mad, 9 times out of 10 they're going to call you, and then you're going to have to resolve the problem. So if there's no store manager or like assistant or emerging store manager, and they call you over for like a problem, you're going to have to do your best to come up with the best solution that doesn't make like your cashier look bad and makes the customer happy. Because like I don't want to like undermine my cashier. I'm going to ask them like what happened, and then they'll tell you what they say. I don't want to go against them just to make the customer happy, because at the end of the day, that customer will leave, but that employee, him or her, is going to be working with me. So I'm going to do my best to make them both happy, or just both content. So my employee could continue working, and that customer could just leave content. So you're going to have to use your better judgment to do what's best for the situation. You'll get a hang of it. Like, you'll deal with it, not so much, but you'll deal with it enough that you pretty much will know. You get to a point where they call you, and then you don't like get nervous about like a new situation. Because when I first started, and they called me, and I'm like, oh no, what do they want now? What if I can't help them? But now that I've been there for, I think it's been half a year since I got promoted, I pretty much like, I'm confident. They could call me for anything, and then I'm pretty confident. I know a way to solve it. So there's that. There's gonna be dealing with customers. It's gonna be retail. It's gonna be great customers, and there's gonna be bad customers. Just keep your head up, smile, and then wave at the end. So they can't say nothing bad if you did your best and you didn't do nothing bad to them. So just do the best you can with customers, retail. Other than that, there's not too much else to the job. You might be in charge for taking in the truck. There's that. Just sort the truck out as best you can. Make the job easier for your teammates. As a shift lead, you might have to help out in the pharmacy. I never really did, because I was always part-time, and I always knew I was going to get a different job. I'm still there. I'm only at that store there for 1 hour. For 1 day. But if you're like a full-time shift lead, you might be expected to go help the pharmacy, which is a good opportunity because you get to like cross-train into like a different like almost job, you know, because you're going to be dealing with retail, but then you also get a chance to go work in the pharmacy. So if you ever want to do that, you already have some experience, so that's good. You could maybe ask your store manager, or your store manager will like train you just in case someone calls out or they get super busy. You can help them. That's always good. Like my biggest tip at the end of the day, just get to know your people. Even the pharmacists, the technicians. In my store, I can talk to anyone. I know everyone by name. I'll just like greet everyone. I'm like, hey, what's up, man? How you been? Or hey, how you doing? So just greet everyone by name. Be good to people. Because like I said, the customers, you can have maybe one bad customer is going to be over within what, 5-10 minutes. But your employees are going to be with you for hours, like maybe 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. So just treat your people right. Like I said, don't get a big head because the job doesn't mean anything. Like, you're not people's bosses. You're just there to like lead them. You know, you're there to be sure the shift runs correctly when the store manager or the assistant manager is not there. So don't get a big head, because I hear like bad stories from other stores, not just Walgreens, Walmart, Best Buy, that as like a shift leader, a member of like leadership or technically management, that some people make other people's lives like a living hell. So just don't do that. You know, it's just a job. Like, do your job and then go home at the end of the day. Just treat people right. Like, I don't know. I can't stand people that make other people's lives bad. You know, like they embarrass people in front of customers. That's another thing. Say someone does mess up, like don't embarrass them in front of a line of people or in front of people. Just once the line dies down, like tell them, hey, you did this wrong. Let's correct it. You know, you don't have to embarrass people, because at the end of the day, we're all human beings. Just because your position's different doesn't mean you're better than them. So this is what you're going to be expecting on your first couple of days as a shift lead, either being promoted or being hired, like as a new hire or something. It's not bad. You could do it. I could do it. It's not bad. It's gonna take time, like with anything. It's gonna be new. It's gonna be fast paced, and you're gonna be multitasking a lot. But there is times when you're gonna be bored, and that's the nice part. So if you enjoyed this video or this helped you in any way, just leave a like and subscribe.